Hey, on this video, we're going to talk gear, and we're going to talk about how to carry a lot of it, all the things you need, things that you probably shouldn't be without in the backcountry. And I'm going to show you how to carry it in a small area, a small compact pack, and it's going to be lighter weight than what you'd ever imagine. Let's get to it. All right, folks, if you're like me, you've been struggling your whole life to figure out how to carry all the stuff that we need in the field. You know, when we're walking into trees, we're just free casting dogs, all that kind of stuff. It just seems like we can never figure out how to carry everything we need in a way that's compact. And if you're hunting in the east, you've got the mountain laurel and the rhododendron and all that stuff that just seems to get caught on all of that pack, and I mean, it's a mess. I've got some really good packs and the rifle carry packs and different things, but they just don't work in the east. And I've had this pack right here, and it's a Maxpedition, and I think it's their jumbo, and I can't remember all of it. It's a Maxpedition jumbo something. But I've had this thing for a few years, and I broke it out this year trying to figure out how to make my life better, how to make my life easier. And so I'm going to break this thing down. We're just going to go through it, and then we're going to show you everything that's in here. Then we're going to weigh it on the scale and show you how much it actually doesn't weigh. But in my mind, this is all stuff that we actually need to be carrying every time we leave the truck. We never know what's going to happen when we leave the truck. You know, it's a bear tree, or it's a coon tree, or it's a lion tree, just a couple 100 yards, 50 yards off the road. You get there, it jumps out, and boom, away you go. And before you know it, you're 500 yards away from the truck, and you didn't bring anything with you. And heaven forbid that, you know, you twist a knee or anything out there, or you know, you fall, and I've seen all kinds of stuff over the years. You can fall and get a compound fracture, and then you've got a bleeder. So I'm going to go through all of the stuff that's in this pack and what I carry with me every time that I leave the truck. And if you're hunting with me and you see me and I've left the truck without it, say, hey, where's your pack? We should all be carrying stuff like this, in my opinion. So let's just break this thing down and go through everything that's in here. And I'm going to get this out first. So we've got a 32 ounce, that's water, 32 ounce water bottle right there. And these are real easy to find, and they're just, you see them on the football game, you know, when you're watching football every week. 32 ounces, you got 1 quart of water. Can't replace water, hydration. Some of the obvious stuff, first aid pack. We got a first aid kit right here, and it attaches to the Molly equipment on the pack on this Maxpedition. My radio. I'm always getting yelled at when I'm bear hunting because I leave the truck without the radio, and that's like the first rule is don't leave the truck without your radio. And I want to go through this a little bit and show you what we got going on here. So, you know, I've carried this radio and tried to do it a lot of different ways. And I've I've got a case on my backpack I carry it in, but then you know, as soon as you get hiking or whatever, then somebody's blowing up your radio and you got to dig it out of the pack, and it's up here. So that works marginally well. Well, on this Maxpedition, this strip right here is the right width for this thing to go in and hook. The other way I've tried to carry it and I've lost it was with my GPS, Whitaker Brothers GPS Garmin carrier, and I've hooked it in there. I've lost it there. But this right here, once it comes in here, can you zoom in on this a little bit, Joe? That is just the perfect width for this to hook in here. And I mean, you've actually got to be deliberate to get it off. And this is my ICOM portable radio. So we got the ICOM, got the first aid kit. All right, some of the features on the Maxpedition pack, and we don't get paid. Like I said, I've had this thing for, I think I've probably had it for about 15 years and tried to figure out what I'm going to use it for. And this year I found it and I thought, okay, I've been struggling with hoods on backpacks and trying to get down, and it slows me down, so I broke it out. So let's go through it and see what we got. First thing we got on the Maxpedition pack is this first pouch right here. And this actually doubles as a place where you can do a concealed carry for a pistol. It comes with a little loop that you can slide a pistol in. Since I'm carrying a chest rig from Gunfighters Inc. over here, then I don't need this. So I've repurposed this pouch for some other things. And first thing I pull out of here is Ziploc bags. Ziploc bags are useful for all kinds of things, but they're also first aid equipment. They're not only storage. If you get a sucking chest wound or something like that, a dog gets a stob or something through its rib cage, or a bear bites it, and you can see that air bubbling out there, you can actually put that on there and wrap it. But I'm going to show you all that. So Ziploc bags are huge. Got some pads in there that I carry in this flat spot right here. And what else have I got in there? There's a lot more room in there. I could carry more stuff if I wanted to, double up on the pads or gauze or whatever. So let's close that pocket up. And then this pocket on top is the most important thing, and I should have saved it for last. We've got a little toilet paper. You never know what you're gonna need that for. So a lot of uses for that, fire starter, whatever. Let's stay on the outside of the pack here. Open this pouch right here. I've got ammo for my rifle. I can carry ammo in here. All right, and that pretty much, oh, we got something else in here. What we got? I didn't check this, so it could be embarrassing. Oh, look at that. What is that? Some kind of little game call I did not even know was in there. Little predator call, coon squaller, miniature. I don't even know who made that. I'm gonna have to find out and then do a shout out on that. That was a total surprise. That thing's sweet. All right, let's go inside the pack. Start right here on this front. We've got another pocket right here that there's nothing in at this time. I mean, there's a place for more of these pads or gauze or whatever you need. Those things don't weigh anything, of course. Let's go right inside the front pack here. All right. I always try to find these little pouches right here. It seems like I come across them, or I've accumulated them over the years, and I just try to repurpose and use stuff. You could actually put that on your belt and carry it if you want. So inside of here, I've got a lighter, and this is one of those battery powered lighters that run on infrared. It's windproof, weatherproof, that whole thing. So this is my fire kit right here. I've got the traditional Bic lighter in here. I've got the official Bear Grylls fire starter in here with a ferro rod. I've got a little fat wood in there. I've got weatherproof matches in there with the striker. Let's see what this is. Got some greased cotton balls in a plastic bag. That'll do it for the fire kit. So why am I carrying a fire kit? You know, one of the things that you got to be conscious of is if you get in a situation, you know, we all think it'll never happen, but we get a couple 100 yards away from the road, boom, we go down, and we don't have good radio contact, or we're hunting by ourselves. The first thing that you should do is try to get yourself a fire going for that heat. thing that's going to kill you most often is shock. It's not going to be the injury itself. It's going to be shock. So we're going to work through that as we go. Let's see what else is in the front here. A light source. This is just a 511 light, and it's in. I like this light because it's got a lock mode on the switch right here, where I can lock it out where the switch won't come on. It's got a few different modes there. High, low. The other thing it'll do is you can hook this on your gear and have a light to walk, so it's got a clip on the side. So we got a light source there. Little Dramamine right there. Dramamine's useful for a lot of things. It's not just motion sickness. Got another lighter. I like having fire sources. And you've heard us talk about wind detectors before. This is just a dead downwind wind detector where I can, when I'm walking into a tree, dogs are treed, I can give it a puff. I can see which way the wind's blowing and adjust my approach so that I'm not pushing bears or cats or whatever out of the tree. You've got some more molly strips in there that you could do some stuff with if you wanted to. All right, let's go to the side pocket right here. This is a very valuable pocket right here. Besides my own personal first aid kit right here, which has got blood stop and let's open that up real quick. I'm gonna switch gears on you just a tad. So this is a pretty handy little kit right here. Comes with a first aid and survival tag in there. I don't know who makes this thing. I'll try to list it in the comments on this video, but it's got a QR code, so if you do have phone service, it's going to help you out there. You can download first aid. It's got a tourniquet. It's got some chest seal. It's got some blood clot. It's got a little set of vinyl gloves there. Got a little marker in there in case you do put a tourniquet on. You need to take some notes. Pretty cool. Pretty cool little kit right there. Better put my free download back in there in case I need some first aids. All right, so this is a personal first aid kit for me. Let's go over here to this side. Everybody knows what that is. If you're a dog man, you know what that is. That's a staple gun. So we got a staple gun in there. We got some latex gloves in there. We got a syringe, and that's going to be key here in just a second, because this says Listerine on it, and you could actually use Listerine for what we're going to do with that syringe because it's sanitary, but that's actually chlorhexidine. And chlorhexidine is something that's really handy for you to have, not only for yourself, but if you get a dog that gets a bad bite or whatever, it's a solution that is going to sterilize that. You want to make sure you keep it out of the eyes because it is very hard on eyeballs. But chlorhexidine, if you remember our podcast we did with Garrett Bailey, the veterinarian from Virginia, I also bear hunt with Garrett, remember his phrase, dilution is the solution to pollution. So I'm going to take this, if I get myself cut, or if I end up with a dog that's injured, then I can flush those wounds right there in the field, right where they happen. At the tree, as I get a few yards away from the tree, whatever, draw some of that up in this syringe and just start sterilizing and diluting that wound and flushing it out. So the only reason I've got a bottle like this is it had Listerine in it. I know it's sterile. Now it's got chlorhexidine in it. I'm still good to go. Vet wrap. All right, so we got vet wrap right there. Let's put this over here with that. So we take the vet wrap, we pack a wound, we put pressure on that wound, and now we can wrap it up with the vet wrap. This isn't going to be a veterinarian class, of course. All right, so that does it for that pocket. All right, so being a podcaster and getting you the video stuff that you need or that we all want to see, I've got my gimbal in this bag with all its accessories. What else is in here? I've got some ibuprofen in here. I've got a hat. And this was in there, but it needs to go back in there. Set of gloves. Just a lightweight set of merino wool gloves. So why am I carrying why am I carrying a set of merino wool gloves and a polar fleece hat? This thing doesn't weigh anything. It's one of those Yazoo hats. It's pretty stylish. Heck yeah, look at that. I think I got it on backwards. Joe, have I put the hat on backwards? I think I put the hat on backwards. Let's put it on the right way. There we go. There we go. Now we're styling. All right, remember I told you, and you can look this up for yourself, more than likely the injury is not going to kill you, but the shock will. So one of the treatments for shock is to keep yourself warm. If you get into a situation where you've got to be in the backcountry for an extended period of time, you're not going to care what you look like, even though you're not going to be as good looking as me and my Yazoo. You're going to be warm. So we're going to carry a hat. We're going to carry a set of gloves. What else we got? An extra pair of socks. And in the Marine Corps, you do not step off on a road march without another pair of socks. Even if you got to sit down and change your socks 2.5, 3 hours into the march, then you change your socks. For us hunters, you get into the chase and you step in a creek, whatever, your feet get wet. I'm telling you, this is better than sex, being able to sit down and put on a pair of fresh socks, dry socks, and keep you rolling for the rest of the day. Let's look here. This is just an extra blade knife. It's a Browning knife. It's got a bone saw. Well, let's see here. We've got a bone saw in there. That's also worked on limbs and stuff for collecting firewood. That's why I carry it. You got a saw and you got a straight lock back blade. So we got a knife in there. The old multi-tool. Everybody knows what that is. Keep one of those in my pack. It's good for pulling staples or pulling sutures through. I mean, who can't use a pair of pliers and all the things that come with it, right? Blades and saws and all kinds of stuff. Sharpeners. Man, I'm gonna tell you what, that thing right there is handy. Skinning a bear, and nothing worse than having a dull knife. Want to hurt yourself? Start using a dull knife. So I carry a diamond sharpener with me all the time, two-sided. It's one of those Smiths, and doesn't weigh anything. So I keep a sharpener in there to sharpen a knife. Another light source. Just a little headlamp deal. You get stuck out overnight and it's nice to have these light sources. Again, that's 2 light sources I'm carrying with me. Compass. If you don't know how to use one, learn. That's a lensetic compass. It's a cheapie, but it still points due north. So you can get a higher grade compass, but we've got compasses on our phones. We got GPSs we're carrying, all that Garmin's, all that different stuff, but still can't beat a good Linsetic compass. I've got more latex gloves here, and I carry latex gloves just to skin or when I'm working on dogs or whatever. Gorilla Tape, carry a small roll of Gorilla Tape with me. That stuff is handy. If you got vet wrap, you got a wound where you're trying to seal it up with one of these bags, man, what can't you fix with duct tape? If you got a rip in your gear or your gaiters or whatever, you know, you put a little duct tape patch on there, take your lighter, heat it up, melt it all together. That'll get you back to the truck. Then one thing that we mentioned earlier, but man, guys, I'm telling you what, if you're not carrying a tourniquet, you need to be carrying a tourniquet. There's been a lot of advancements in tourniquet use since I was a kid. You know, back when I was a kid, it's like, oh, you don't use a tourniquet unless it's really serious, and then you got to loosen it every 5 minutes, or somebody will get their arm amputated or whatever. Well, what they found since we've been in the recent wars and stuff is that these dudes can save lives. Bleeders will be shut off, and this tourniquet here is extremely useful. It's set up for one thing, and that's to stop bleeding. So learn how to use a tourniquet and carry it with you. Guys, that's everything in this pack. I mean, this isn't a very big compartment here, but you can see all the stuff that's in it. We're going to cut the video off. I'm going to repack it, and then I'm going to show you exactly what it weighs. And I'm also going to show you how I carry it and how I prefer to carry it. All right, I got everything packed up in here, and then we're going to put it up here on the scale. I'm going to show you exactly what all that gear that was on that table went back in this pack. You saw it come out. You didn't see it go back in, but we're going to show you what it weighs, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like with the chest rig and my Garmin holder and everything. So let's take a look at that. Scales are zeroed out right now. Coming in at less than 10.5 pounds for everything that you saw. And that's with the radio. The water bottle's full. Got a quart of water on it. Less than 10.5 pounds. All right, so when the Maxpedition, when I carry this, it's got a strap right here. Waist belt that goes with it, just real simple strap. Padded shoulder strap. I don't have a code for you. I'm not selling these things. I just want to show you that this is an awesome pack. So if I need to use it, I can pull it around in front of me. I can get to everything right here. All right, with my Gunfighter's Inc., I got my handgun, still accessible here. I've got my Garmin with my Josh Whitaker Garmin carrier. You can hit Josh up on Instagram or Facebook and order yourself one. I'm not gonna lie, for a while I wasn't real crazy about this thing. I was like, man, I don't know if I like that or not. But it's just so daggone versatile. I can pull a jacket on over top of it or whatever. Keeps it out of my way. So that's it, folks. Carry 10.5 pounds of essential gear that every one of us should be carrying in the field with first aid kits, all that other stuff. And I'm just going to put this plug in about first aid kits. Your first aid is your responsibility. It's not mine. And you should be carrying your own first aid stuff. That's kind of a rule in law enforcement, Marine Corps, everything else. If I show up, first thing I want to do is use your first aid gear on you. Not use my first aid gear on you. I didn't buy my stuff for you. I bought it for me. So get yourself a good first aid gear, take a class, learn how to use all that stuff. Until next time, folks, this is the Houndsman XP podcast. This is Fair Chase.